Can I have a bite?
Why are I don't know if we see the touch now.
No, nothing. Nothing, bro. I'm just happy to see you. I get out of my van. Yes, skin naga go. Get better top on it. Get better top on it. Kabaizare. Go busy seat in my van. Go busi. Kiritan gas konut Mario. Obana go like give it and Gayan. Shit, bro. I was so mad. I was angry. How like I had to bowl. That's why I'm saying I picked like my last pitch. But I had no choice. I had to take.
Elia.
Good afternoon and welcome to match number 8 in the CSA T20 Challenge 2023-2024. We're at the JB Marks Oval where the Auto Investment Dragons will be having their first game at home against their former franchise rivals in the DP World Lions. Remember, Northwest and Central Gauteng merged together in the franchise system, and then they split, with Northwest winning one of the 2 provincial spots allocated to those that weren't main franchises. So now they're back again to play each other in this tournament. The Lions having won their first game, with the Dragons having lost their first game. I'm not alone. I've got Vian with me, who will be bringing you commentary together. How are you doing, Vian?
Hi, Umfo. It's lovely to be here today, and good afternoon to all our viewers. Word from the middle is the Northwest Dragons won the toss and they have elected to bat first. The Northwest Dragons, of course, suffering a defeat in their opening match against the Titans at SuperSport Park in Centurion earlier on this weekend, while the Lions came out on top in their match against the Paarl Rocks. Umpo, interesting one here today.
It is. The Dragons obviously want to win to get their season going. Also, they'll be looking to be making the JB Marks Oval a fortress. There's some fans out here, and it's looking like a good day of cricket. The Lions, on the other hand, want to build on the successes of them winning the 4-day series, as well as winning their first game against the GPS Rocks at the Wanderers on Friday night. Before we do anything, there are 3 changes to the Lions. Junaid Dawood comes in for Tsepo Moreki. Luto Sipamla comes in for Kagiso Rabada. So for those who are hoping to see a Rabada Mapaka bowling in tandem, unfortunately you'll only get to see one of those. And finally, Delano Potgieter comes in for Evan Jones. Remember, Delano Potgieter was the saviour of the Lions in the 4-day series final with that 155 not out. But here we are. We've got Gwena Mapaka coming in from the JB Marks end, bowling to Vian Libba. First ball outside the off stump. Great line and length there from Gwena Mapaka. Vian Libba, a little bit tentative there to start off with.
Yeah, it looked like the ball shaped away nicely there by Mapaka. Gwena Mapaka, of course, being the star of the show the other night against the Rocks as well. He bowled 4 overs, 3 for 22. Definitely a very good start to the campaign, following on his excellent Under-19 World Cup.
Yeah, interesting decision to give him a start, but really, really good to see the youngster thriving here at this level. Short pulled outfield. So first chance of us to see what the outfield is doing. Mitch van Buren there on the square leg boundary for a 2.
That's a nice way to get off the mark. Back of a length delivery worked into the onside by Libba. Libba, of course, also batting nicely the other evening against the Titans at SuperSport Park. He had quite a good partnership together with Reinhard van Tonde there early on in the innings. But just faded away by the Northwest Dragons there at the end of it. They really were in a good position to win it the other evening, Mpo.
Yes, they were in a good position to win it, but unfortunately, somehow, but that's the nature of this game. When the wickets start crumbling, you can't seem to stop them. One slip in place. There's that Yorker. I've been waiting to see when he's gonna use it. It's been a ball that's been bamboozling the under-19s around the world. It's a ball that has probably made him a name for himself. And even against the Rocks, he got a few wickets with that delivery. Really lovely to see.
That looked like he beat him for a bit of pace there. Mikhail Prince, 21 of 12 the other evening against the Titans, got the Dragons off to a flyer in Pretoria.
One slip in place. Oh, it's a beautiful shot there from Vian Libba. The chase is going to be quite unsuccessful for Bjorn Fortuin, as the first boundary of the day in this CSA T20 challenge goes to Vian Libba. It was a bit of a full toss.
Yeah, an excellent shot by Libba. And Vian Libba really becoming an integral part of this batting lineup and the Dragons franchise as a whole. He has really matured as a cricketer over the years. He's Vian Libbe.
What will Mapaka do now? Comes down the wicket. Luckily didn't get any bat on it for the Northwest faithful out here. But you can see that there's a little bit of aggression from Vian Libbe looking to attack the young Mapaka. The question obviously is a mental game, right? If you attack him as a youngster, what is he going to do? Does he have the skills to get his game back? Bowled really well on Friday night. Has been bowling really well throughout the last 18 months. He's part of the victorious SA Under-19 team, as an emerging team that won the One Day Cup earlier this year as well in the Division 2. Another play and a miss with a ball that swings away from the left-handed Vian Mulder. Great over from Kwena Mapaka. Only 6 coming off of that over, and it is 6 without loss for the Dragons.
Now the Dragons really showing some intent early on, playing a lot of shots in the opening over, trying to put the young and probably relatively inexperienced Mapaka under pressure, but not really looking too phased by the intent shown by the Dragons batters. Vian Libbe, of course, being one of the Dragons players that have played for South Africa in T20 international cricket as well.
Yes, so now we're going to get a first chance to see Mikhail Prince here at his adopted home at the JB Marks Oval. Mikhail Prince, SA Under-19 player as well. Didn't play in the World Cup in the Caribbean, but he was part of the squad at the time, Western Province youngster, but now has moved on and got a rookie contract here at the Auto Investment Northwest Dragons. Captain Bjorn Fortuin of the Lions to bowl now left arm spin. 2 spinners in for the Lions today. Junaid Dawood, acquisition from the Warriors lost at the beginning of the season, is also in play. He goes for a full one at the feet of Prince, who digs it out really, really nicely. You've got 5 fielders on the offside, 4 in the ring, 3 on the leg side in the ring. Prince can only push that one back to the bowler. You can see the tight lines and lengths that Fortuin is using as a spinner in the power play.
That's a beautiful piece of bowling by Bjorn Fortuin, and really is a ploy the Lions have followed for a really long time. It's not something that they do a little of. They do it quite frequently, as Bjorn Fortuin with the new ball.
134 wickets in T20s. Quick single being taken, and the risk is paid off as Vian Mulder dives over the ball at cover. And there is no run. Now there's going to be a field change because there's a left-hander. Left-hand, right-hand combinations have been bamboozling cricket captains for a very long time. So to the left-handed Vian Mulder, you've got deep backward square out. You've also got a fielder down at long off. Everyone else, 5 fielders in the ring on the offside. You've got square leg in the ring, and you've also got a fine leg who's also come up in the circle. Slightly short, but Libbe could not get under it. He had to go. He can only push it away from it, largely because of a great line from Fortuin.
Now Fortuin's ball really tidy over so far. He'd really dearly like to close this one out. Probably go quick and into the pads here of Libbe.
Sweep shot induced, and he finds the gap as it goes to the boundary for the second 4 of the day. Vian Libbe going to 10, 2 4s in his 10. Great shot there by him. Slightly mistimed actually, because it looks like he got a bit of an underage on it, but the outfield here at the JB Marks Oval is amazing. End of the second over, 11 without loss.
Yeah, the field really in prime condition. The outfield almost carpet-like here at the JB Marks Oval. And the Northwest Dragons, of course, winning the toss and electing to bat first. Interesting enough, in day games, T20s here at the JB Marks Oval, not a lot separating the sides batting first and batting second. Really even contest for bat and ball.
The number here is 164 that you're looking for. The average score batting first. But we think it might be a little bit more on a 180 to 200 side. If you look at the square, it doesn't look like there's demons. Consistent bounce and pace. Outfield looks lush. Mapaka to resume. Quick single taken and the shot, the stumps. Mitch van Buren had a Superman moment there. Could have been even more amazing for the Lions had he connected. But Northwest taking risks early on.
Such is the nature of the game in T20s. It's a really quick tempo that is being followed here at the JB Marks Oval as well. 12 for no loss after 2.1 overs now. And you do feel the Dragons would like to get a big over somewhere here in the power play.
Yeah, you kind of feel like you need to get that one big over just to set your innings going, right? You obviously don't want to lose wickets up front, be a little cautious. But you also need to take risks from a single perspective to try and move it. Not necessarily take risks, but be a little bit more aggressive in your running to just let you get that innings going a little bit. It's kind of like a diesel engine. You have to start it a little bit, but once it's going, it can go.
And the fielding, the previous ball being done by the Proteas skipper Themba Bavuma. And it's good to see him back in the provincial setup here as well.
He's played in the 4-deck series final. Doesn't score many runs. Edged and taken by Ryan Rickleton. Great wicket, first wicket for Kwena Mapaka, who gets a Vian Libba, who's been looking to be very aggressive to him with an edge to wicketkeeper Ryan Rickleton. First blood to the Lions.
And excellent piece of bowling by Kwena Mapaka. And it did look like a bit of an off-pace delivery by Mapaka. The ball not flying through to wicketkeeper Ryan Rickleton. Maybe taking the pace off, but nonetheless a brilliant piece of bowling so far by Mapaka. He's really given the Lions an excellent start here, and that wicket brings the in-form and recently capped by the Proteas batter Reinhard van Tonder out to the middle. And Paul, what have you made of Reinhard van Tonder so far?
Promising career, captained SA Under-19 in the New Zealand tournament in around 2016-17 season. Really showed a lot of promise, but has really struggled to maintain that promise. And he comes in here with the hope of him getting his T20 career going. Average is 26, but his strike rate's about 111. So he's going to need to improve on that strike rate. Very classy one-day batsman, very classy four-day batsman, right? Which is why he made it into the squad for the New Zealand series, where everyone was calling it a C team. I thought that batting lineup was more B team / A team hopefuls, and he is one of the Protea hopefuls that'll be looking. But this is a format where if he does well in, can earn him a little bit more money. SA20 scouts are watching, and it's something for him to look forward to, and he's going to get a full season, whereas in previous places he wasn't. So he comes in right-handed bat. He's got Kwena bowling at him with a slip. It is 12 for 1. Kwena to Reinhard van Tonder.
Solid forward front foot defensive by Van Tonder. Van Tonder, of course, in the previous outing against the Titans, 48 of 33 balls with 4 absolute monsters. He hit, I saw 1 or 2, he hit over the embankments into the nets at SuperSport Park. So really an underrated short format batter, I think, is Reinhard van Tonder.
I think it's just been a lack of opportunities, and I honestly think he's coming to his own. Sometimes as a youngster, all that pressure just weighs on you. But I think at Northwest he has a new lease on life.
Definitely, since schoolboy cricket, he has been one that has been spoken highly of, is Van Tonder. Coming through the ranks at the Free State,
Yes.
playing quite a few games for the Free State and for the Knights later on as well, making lots of runs. And with the move to the Northwest Dragons, eventually got the opportunity with the SA20 and everything in the New Zealand tour, and didn't make as much runs on the Proteas tour, but he did look good for the runs that he got. Mpo?
Mapaka in this one, just inside edge onto the pad. Quick single taken by Van Tonder, just looking to get to the other side. Struggled a little bit for timing right now, end of the third over. Speaking of Reinhard, after that, it's a 2018 World Cup. He scored 348 runs there. Everyone thought we've got something. In that World Cup, there were the likes of Harry Brook. In there, Matthew Bretzke was also part of that team with Gerald Coetzee. But you always felt with Reynard that he had to leave his home province because he was getting the reputation that he was a flat track bully, right? And today, Vian, it looks very flat. So the Northwest faithful here at JB Marks will be hoping that today is something we could get something special from Ryan Reynard, because he's got all the tools in the bag to play this format. It's just he just needs a lot of opportunities. He's only played 34 games already, only batted 30 times. He's only scored 711 runs, but it's about getting that strike rate up, scoring runs at a high rate. The average I'm not worried about. It's the strike rate. Bjorn Fortuin to resume. It is from the university end. Reynard van Tonder coming down the wicket, and there's that sign of promise. Great shot down the ground for 4.
Yeah, some good intent shown by Van Tonder early on in the innings, coming down the wicket to the experienced left-arm spin of Bjorn Fortuin and taking him on in a lovely shot down the ground. So, the wicket does look good for batting, Mpo. I don't see a lot of sideways movement. Maybe a bit of inconsistency in the pace of the wicket, maybe a bit slower than you think. But don't see too much troubling the batters here.
Good shot straight to Temba Bavuma there from Reynard van Tonder. I agree with you, and I think if you look at Gwena's wicket, the moment you started bowling that slow ball, that's when you start hurting the batter's timing. And you can see Bjorn with that tight line again. To Reynard van Tonder's already conceded a boundary in the over. You're going to try to think that the batters are now at ease. They might want to cash in a little bit more. Quick single taken, shot the stumps, and it will be not out. Great fielding from the Lions. Great running as well. Great communication between Prince as well as Van Tonder.
Yeah, quick single forcing Prince to get his skates on. But in the end, probably have to say a good run taken by the Northwest batters. Score then moving on to 18 for the loss of 1 wicket.
Those runs make a coach just curl a little bit and be a little not too happy.
Fortuin really someone that is comfortable with the batters taking him on. I think he does favour it a bit. He likes it when the batters are coming at him, trying to force the play.
Yeah, he's got a field at deep square leg, and he's also got one at long off. For that attacking play. But that's the end of the 4th over. It's 18 for 1. Van Tonder on 6, Prince on 2. The last wicket to fall was Vian Libbe. He scored 6 runs, and he was out. Caught Rickleton off the bowling of Gwena Mapaka. The Lions are looking good so far at 18 for 1. The run rate is 4.5 and over in this T20. Vian, we're going to see our first bowling change. The Lions are going to go to their golden arm. They've got a barrage of golden arm bowlers. One of them is Delano Potgieter. Whenever he does anything in cricket in this last month, it turns to gold.
Now, Potgieter, someone that really came into the limelight in the 4-day Cup final. He really had an amazing game with both bat and ball on a televised game for the whole of the country to see.
He's got a field at deep backward square leg, as well as a field at the point boundary outside the circle. No slip for him, but first ball, Reynard van Tonder finds the wide expanse of the leg side for a single.
Looks like Rassie van der Dussen out there on the fence doing the work for his side. And really a star-studded lineup here for the Lions. A lot of Proteas players or players that have represented their country in the past on display here today, Mpo.
Yes, there is, and Delano in. It's up in the air. Another lusty blow. Vian spoke about those lusty blows. The first one of the day, and it is a 6 to Reynard van Tonder. Got a bit of a half volley. It's Mikael Prince, I beg your pardon, who just came down the wicket and put it through for a 6. Really good shot there from the youngster. Speaking about the Lions star-studded team, their top four are all fighting for a spot on the plane to the West Indies World Cup, the World Cup in the West Indies. Easy single, great batting from Mikhail Prince. Score goes up to 26. This looks like the over. They've both told themselves that they're going to try and attack.
Yeah, it's good to see the intent by the Dragons batters. And speaking of the star-studded lineup of the Lions, another one of those into the lineup today in place of Kagiso Rabada is Lutho Sipamla, coming back from a long time out of the game. Is Sipamla?
Yes, we got a glimpse of him in the back end of the 4-day series. Nice ball outside the off stump. That's the stock standard ball that you're looking for from Talano Potgieter. They've got a stacked offside field with 5 fielders in the ring, ready for that for that aggressive bowling from aggressive batting from Van Tonder. That cover drive is well known, and the Lions are covering it well so far. Fuller ball, couldn't get past the inner ring, and it is 1 ball left. And to a certain extent, yes, we haven't seen Lutho in a while, and this Lions team is that, but there's there might be some players who are going off to the IPL. We know Kagiso Rabada is on his way to the IPL. He isn't playing today, but an able replacement in Lutho Sipamla. Oh, it's a beautiful shot. Can it be covered? It is covered. Wow, covered. And some lazy running there from Van Tonder and Prince, as they managed to get 3 runs from that. They thought they were going to just, mosey in for 2, but they had to scurry in for a 3rd. Great fielding down the ground by Vian Mulder, who seemingly also is having a great 2 months of cricket.
Yeah, Mulder, especially in the shortest format of the game, has really come to light in the last few months as a powerful striker of the ball. It's a component of his game that we haven't seen a lot of in the past, but really has come on as a real good middle order and as well a finisher, a powerful striker of the ball, as well in the SA T20. He really did well, as we see Lutho Sipamla.
Yes, coming in from the university end. He's played 48 matches in T20s. He's taken 46 wickets and an economy of 9.07. Mistimed shot there by Reynard van Tonder. You have to assume there's a little extra pace. Gwena Mapaka is fast, but he's not at that level yet. He still has to grow into his body. But Lutho Sipamla adds a different dimension with that pace. My friend and I always say pace is pace is pace. And he brings that in abundance.
Sipamla definitely a skiddy bowler. And he has really become an experienced campaigner, is Sipamla, over the last couple of seasons especially. As a change of field sees mid-on drop back to long-on.
We see that advancing from the northwest to in the middle. They like to advance down the wicket. This time it's the inside edge, undercut to the fielder behind square, around 45 on the leg side for a single. It's interesting that that's the way they're looking to generate pace. It's kind of telling you that the ball coming off the square isn't as quick as they anticipated to be, so they need to try and find a way to add a little bit more. This one pulled over square leg, and it'll be 4 runs to Mikhail Prince. So far, some really good cricket shots from Mikhail Prince, who's impressing all and sundry so far in South African cricket. Interesting innings at the Titans, but he's had a really good season for the Dragons, and it's continuing again in the shortest format.
Yeah, Prince really looking good so far. Only 13 of 10 deliveries now. So scoring hasn't been all that freely so far here at the JB Marks Oval this afternoon.
Fuller one on off stump and driven down the ground. Mikhail Prince seems to have every answer to the Lions bowling attack so far. The score moves up to 34 with his partnership at 22.
With the average first innings total here in day games at the JB Marks Oval being 162, I'm not too convinced that that will be the case here today. The wicket does look a bit too paced, maybe a bit slow on the slow side as well. As Pamla continues.
It's another sign of that two-paced wicket, just the under edge through to the keeper and the ball not reaching the keeper for no run. It's not the Wanderers, that we can say. It's all SuperSport Park, and that's the beauty about South Africa, right? Is that every region presents a different test for the batters and the bowlers, and this one's a little bit of a different one, more on the slower side as you mentioned, but there's still something in for the bowlers if you want to, as many people say in cricket, bowl hard at the wicket and that hard length. Another single taken out to the leg side, and that will be the end of the power play. Score is 36 for 1 at the end of the power play. Remember, the Auto Investment Dragons won the toss and chose to bat first. Wicket of Vian Libber falling a 4-6. And so far the team, the Dragons, are on 36 for 1. Mikael Prince on 14 off 11. Renat van Tonder 12 off 15. Run rate currently going at 6.4. At 6 and over to run a ball. 36 balls, 36.
Yeah, so the end of the power play brings about a really interesting and possibly challenging part in this game, as we are playing on your screen more to the right of the screen. We're not playing on a center track, we're playing a bit to one of the side strips. I think we're playing 3 or 4 strips from the right. So the longer boundary now on the leg side for the right-handed batters of the Auto Invest Dragons. And I do think we're going to see a lot of spin in the middle passage. So an interesting challenge coming up. It's going to be about who's playing the spinners better today, as we see it looks like Junaid Dawood into the attack. The exciting leg spinner. Mpo?
Yes, exciting leg spinner, played for Western Province, is also last season played for the Warriors. And now he is with the Lions. He was acquired earlier this year. Really good signing for them.
It's worked into the leg side by Van Tonder, and some excellent work on the fence by Van der Dussen keeps them to 1.
Part of the recipe for T20, you need a good wrist spinner, you need a good spinner, but you also need some mystery, and that comes with the wrist spinner. Right arm leg spinner, Junaid Dawood taking the ball away from the right-hander.
Once again tucked into the leg side, and it doesn't look like they're scampering for 2. And Mpo, I do think with the bowlers from the JB Marks end especially, I think the batters will look to run as many 2s as possible with the long boundary now to the leg side. I do think when there is a change of ends and the bowlers come from the university, and I do think we'll see the batters taking on the shorter boundary more, which can bring the bowlers into play as well.
Yes, you can't bowl short from the university into a right-handed batter. Edged
and taken at short third man by Delano Potgieter. An excellent piece of bowling by Dawood, and just giving a bit of thanks for the selectors bringing him in today for this encounter, Mpo.
Yes, I thought he missed out, unfortunately, on Friday night, as I believe that you should always have a wrist spinner in your side in T20. But Renat van Tonder, with the ball going away from him, edging it to the man who was that short third man. He had to do a little bit of work, did Delano Potgieter, to get to that ball with a really nice, sharp, low catch there from him. And that is the second wicket for the Lions. And that brings in Ruben Herman into the attack, into the middle.
Now, there's an interesting part of the game coming up now. The Auto Invest Dragons would dearly love for Herman to bat a long time here, especially with him being a left-handed batter with the dimensions of the field as is. I think for left-handed batter to be out there, especially to the spinners now during the middle part of the game, I think will be a really important tool for the Auto Invest Dragons to have a left-hander out there at all times to just bring the short boundary into play at all times.
That is true. So that's the Auto Investment Dragons. They are 38 for 2. We have Aviad Liba, who is out for 10. Court Rickleton bowled Mapaka, and Reynard Fantonda just is the wicket that's been dismissed right now. Delano Porchita came with an expert catch at short third man off the bowling of Junaid Dawood.
Now, so far, Prince the only batter going at a strike rate of more than 100. So conditions not as easy as we might have thought at the beginning of the game. And I do think with the spinners bowling now, I think it'll be a real difficult challenge for the Northwest batters to get on top of the Lions bowlers here.
A bit of turn on offer for the spinners, but now here's a chance for Ruben to attack that short boundary with the ball coming into him from Dawood.
Once again, Herman working that one into the leg side with the shorter boundary. I can't imagine too much twos that side of the ground. I do think they might try to look at to double up on the onside of the right-handers from the JB Marks end.
Yes, Ruben Herman was one of the batters who got promoted out of the Division 2 last year. He was at the Mpumalanga Rhinos playing out of White River.
Down the ground and launched towards long on, taking on the fielder. An excellent catch taken out on the fence. The right-handed Prince taking on the long boundary.
Great catch there by Reza Hendricks on the boundary. He had to contend with the sunlight coming out of the stands there. But great piece of fielding. And Mikael Prince, a person who the Dragons would have hoped would carry on and bat for throughout the innings, has to go out for 15 off of 12. 2 wickets in Junaid Dawood's first over with 1 ball remaining.
You really have to question the approach there by the Northwest batters. A bit of a schoolboy mentality shown there with a double wicket over so far. And taking on the longer boundary as well, Prince. It's a bit of a... Not too sure what the coaching staff would think about that one. With a double fall of wicket now here. Really putting the Lions into a powerful position here, Mpo.
Yes, putting the Lions in a powerful position, and it's that wrist spin again that's creating a lot of problems for the Dragons as Lisiba Ngwepe walks in to the middle to join Ruben Herman. It's now 2 new batters, which is what you want as a fielding captain, is 2 new batters at the crease in just after the power play to arrest this, to stop a team's momentum. And they have that now with batters number 4 and 5 out there in the middle. It is 39 for 3. And can Lisiba and Ruben Herman take this deep? The only way that the Dragons from this point can actually win this game, is they need to give themselves a chance. And these 2 need to take it as deep as possible, even if it gets them 130. That's something that they can bowl at.
At this stage, 2 left-handers at the crease now, with Lisiba Ngwepe now joining Herman at the crease. Dawood now to complete his first over. Excellent line bowled by Dawood, and does the fielding off his own bowling. That brings an end to an excellent first over by Dawood. 2 wickets for 4 runs in his opening over of this match, and really a game changer at this stage, Mpo.
Big game changer, and it's been a tough season for Junaid. He hasn't had a lot of game time here at the Lions. It's really tough for a spinner in the longer formats of the game to get game time, and in the One Day Cup he didn't get that many. But the CSA T20 Challenge presents a really beautiful opportunity for him. He also played for the Sunrisers, the 2-time winning champions in SA20. So because somehow spin is working, we're seeing the exploits, the once-in-a-while exploits of a Protea in Reza Hendricks. He played really well at the PSL, the Pakistan Super League, number 4 run scorer before he had to leave. Scored 306 runs at a strike rate of 139. But we're not talking about his batting here, Vian. We're talking about his bowling. He's here to bowl right arm off spin. Got 2 lefties in. You want the ball to go away from them, and seemingly he's the Lions' option for that.
Now Reza Hendricks definitely going to look to slow it up here with the long boundary to the left-handers. It's nicely tucked into the offside by Ngwepe. And I think it's a good move by the Lions skipper here to bring on Riza Hendricks. Lions skipper, of course, fancying a bit of spin bowling.
Also, the interesting thing is if he gives it a little bit of flight down that middle stump line, will it tempt the Dragon batters to try and attack that leg side from the University Oval? There are 3 catches on the boundary for that.
Driven into the offside off the outside half of the bat. And a really challenging period now for the Dragons. 2 quick wickets, leaving them 41 for 3. The 2 left-handers in the middle would dearly like to get a partnership going here for their side. As Riza Hendricks gets one to slide on with the arm.
Golden arm for Riza Hendricks. And he just gets through the defenses of Ruben Harman. He goes for 1, but that was the surprise ball, right? It was the one that goes on with the arm instead of the one that goes away from the left-handed batter.
As we have a look at the replay, it did look like that one kept slightly low. And concerning sights for everyone that wants to bat here today. It's a good piece of bowling by Hendricks, but concerning for the Lions batters as well. Seeing that one keep a tad low. Nonetheless, a wicket for Riza Hendricks sees the end of Ruben Harman. The score now 41 for 4 after 7 overs. And the Northwest Dragons in a bit of trouble here, Mpo.
Yes, they've lost 3 wickets for 3 runs, and it's going to be a tall order from here. If you look at that scorecard, they did win the toss and choose to bat first, thinking they'd get the best of the conditions. They currently sit 41 for 4. Top 4 all gone. Vian Libber out to the bowling of Kwena Mapaka, 10 off 10 balls. Mikael Prince, 15 off 13. He was caught by Riza Hendricks on the boundary, trying to play across the line to a ball that to trying to get it down to long on. Reinhard van Tonder was caught edged down to a short third man. Delano Potgieter with a nice catch there, and Ruben Harman was bowled by Riza Hendricks. From a bowling perspective, you can see that 1 wicket for Mapaka, 2 for Dawood, and 1 for Riza Hendricks. Economy rates for the Lions, making Captain Vaughan Fontaine very happy. Riza to resume.
That's forward defensive by Mutusami, and Senaran Mutusami once again another left-hander. And put your coaching cap on now, Paul. Would you have sent out Mutusami? Would you have opted for the right-hander, maybe Pretorius, to come out? That's once again tucked into the offside. Another dot ball by Hendricks, and you get the sense of a bit of left-handedness now. Maybe playing into the hands of the Lions.
That was my thought with this Northwest team. I thought they'd try and dovetail left, right.
Once again, keeping slightly low. Mutusami punching that one through mid-wicket down towards long on. And that brings an end to the 8th over. The score now 42 for 4 after 8 overs. And Humpo coming back to that point of the left-hand, right-hand combination.
Yeah, so obviously it gives them the amount of left-handers they have is quite a lot, and I don't think there are a lot of sides in South Africa that can boast the amount of left-handers that they have. I think it's 4 now out of the top 6, and so you'd think they'd find ways to try and dovetail a little bit, but if you can't, you'll really struggle if you're losing wickets all in a clump for you to try and dovetail, because you're not losing wickets because of good bowling. You're losing wickets because of bad decision making from a batting perspective, right? Choosing when to be aggressive, choosing not when to be aggressive. And kudos to the Lions for necessarily putting on the pressure and keeping that run rate down at 5.3. But that's essentially what it is. So as a coach, I'm saying let's just trust the batting order as it is, and hopefully it'll give us something to bowl at.
Dawood now continues as we see Mutusami hanging out towards deep square leg, and a bit of a long hop.
Yeah, mistimed there from the field there by Kwena Mapaka. He didn't see it, saw it quite late, but luckily for him, managing to stop the fall. But there was a possible opportunity for a wicket.
Now Dawood bowling to 2 left-handers with the shorter side on the leg side. can be a dangerous time for him. Can also be an opportunity to grab a few wickets for the leg spinner. As we see a bit of movement behind the bowler's arm.
There's someone there who's moving across the side screen in the middle of an over.
Looks like that has been sorted out now. It's Dawood to continue now to Ngwepe. It's worked into the leg side. Quenan Parkat's chasing after that one. Does good fielding. Keeps it down to 1. And boy, if you were in the Dragons camp now, what would you be looking at an ideal score from here?
Anything above 140. You've got enough time to get to about 140, 145. That brings you in the game with the amount of spinners they have.
It's nicely swept away by Mutasamy. Beats the short fine leg fielder, beats the deep square leg fielder, and 4 runs that the Dragons dearly needed at this stage. Mpo.
Yes, very good shot there by Senran Mutasamy, just smothering the turn and sweeping it with the turn. Expertly finding the gap there on the boundary. He's an underrated batter, but someone who on the longer format can be trusted at the number 7 position, which says a lot.
Good piece of bowling and worked into the leg side by Mutasamy. Looks like Vian Mulder out there on the deep mid-wicket fence, keeping it down to 1.
They're going to need Senaran the batter today, as much as they've always relied on Senaran the bowler. He thinks of him as thinks of himself as a good batter, and has the confidence of it. 3 Test caps, incredible 50 in Vizag, on tour in India, for the Proteas. So he can do a lot.
Once again, Ngwepe on the sweep. Looks like a bit of glove, taking that one down towards fine leg. A bit of ordinary running by the Dragons keeps that one down to 1.
Look, I think once you've lost 4 wickets, the idea of being aggressive just goes out the window. Right now we're down to plan B, or possibly even plan C. With the first 50 coming up for the Dragons, 50 off of 4, with having lost 4 wickets. Run rate still 5.9.
Dawood to continue, drags that one down. Punched into the offside by Mutasamy. It's been a good over so far for the Dragons. The score now moving on to 51 for the loss of 4 wickets after 9 overs.
So a positive is they've got 7 runs off of that over, off of Junaid Dawood. So while these two are in the middle, they're probably not going to be too scared of him, or they still need to be watchful, but you just need to play with a bit of confidence like they've done in the last over, managed to get a boundary and go through. 51 for 4 after 9. As you can see, Junaid Dawood has opened the game up, but Riza Hendricks, who's going to get the ball again, is what the Lions will be hoping come up with a few more wickets and give them a lot more control over the game.
Hendricks now continues to Mutasamy. Mutasamy pulls out the reverse sweep. Scampers through for a single. And the Dragons get an extra run for their troubles.
So much comedy today. A botched reverse sweep from Senaran Mutasamy that led to an overthrow. And the Dragons managed to get 2. They'll take him whichever way it comes at this point in time, but with a little bit of comedy on that last one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a lot more of those shots, especially with the shorter boundary that side. As Hendrick continues now. That's punched down the ground towards long on. Looks like Mulder down at long on doing the fielding. I do think Hendricks maybe presents a bigger threat at this stage than the other spinners, to the 2 left-handers, especially from this end.
Largely because of the fact that Visa can turn it away from the left-handers.
Down the ground and hit towards long off. It looks like Potgieter down there. Does the fielding. Good piece of fielding there by Delano Potgieter.
Look, if you're going to bowl full tosses, then our discussion doesn't, our hypothesis doesn't work. But ideally, he should be turning the ball away from the left-hander.
Yeah, and at this stage, the one that slides on with the arm, definitely a dangerous one, as we see Mutasamy hitting that one out into the covers. And a good piece of running by the Dragons batters.
And to a certain extent, this is what you would have wanted from the guys at the top, right? They're currently going at 15 runs and over at a runner ball, these two. Currently, the run rate for the Dragons is at 5.8. They're really doing very well at ticking the scoreboard over.
Bit of a drag down here down towards long on. Mulder once again doing the fielding.
And to a certain extent, that's what Lesiba Ngwepe is, right? He's a nudger and a nerdler. He's not going to waste a lot of balls. He's always looking for the ones and twos. And Senran Mutusami, as a basis for his cricket, that's who he is. He likes to look for the options to score runs.
It's punched out towards extra cover. It looks like Fortuin who does the fielding. And interesting enough, Bjorn Fortuin, left-hand bowler, right-hand fielder. Favours throwing with his right hand, bowls with his left hand. Really interesting one, that.
It's because all these cricketers are ambidextrous, my man. They do things in a really interesting way. For instance, David Miller, left-hand bat. If he ever bowled, he'd bowl right-handed. He plays golf right-handed, which is one of the weirdest things in the world. But he hits a long ball left. So they all do things differently. Kagiso Rabada, right-handed bowler, left-handed batter. It's a beautiful asymmetry that this game brings, as these players are all athletes, all really, really good in their own right, and they spend hours and hours honing their craft and trying to find that thing that makes them different, that gives them that edge.
Yeah, the score now 57 for 4 after 10 overs, and you see a change of bowling from the JB Marks end. It looks like Luther Supamla's coming in for another spell. At this stage, the 5 guys out on the boundaries, deep square leg, deep mid-wicket, long off, Super on the offside, and the third man. Just as I said, you see a change in the field. Third man comes up and long on goes out. Now for me, Paul, that just says he's going to bowl a lot of change-ups, off cutters, leg cutters maybe, and force the batter to hit down the ground.
And nothing short.
Worked into the leg side between deep mid-wicket and long on. A lot of work for the fielder at long on. He does well to keep it down to 2.
Good running there between the two of them. They realize that that leg side, that short boundary that we're speaking about, presents a lot of runs for them. We call it a short boundary, but this field is massive. It's one of the largest fields in South Africa, and you can get a lot of joy here without getting many boundaries.
Supamla now continues. Gwepe punches that one into the offside. Scamp on in the middle. And good backup by the deep mid-wicket fielder. Keeps it down to 1. And really you have seen an intent, a rise in the intent by the Auto Invest Dragons batters here, especially with the running.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, look, I think right now aggression is out the book. You've got to give yourselves a chance of getting yourselves as deep in the game as possible, to give Janssen and Pretorius an opportunity to go hard at the end, right?
And a bit of innovation by Mutasami. The umpire says that is not out. Really a good shout there by Sipamla.
Look, I felt that he hit him outside of the line of off stump, and that's the reason why the umpire did not give it out. So
the replay definitely showing that one pitching outside, leg stump. So a good option by Mutasami, identifying the line of the ball. Sipamla, of course, coming over the wicket to the left hand. He's going to struggle to get LBWs from that angle. Excellent wrist by Mutasami. Just flicks that one over short fine leg for 4.
All wrist. You can see that there was a little bit of hockey in his junior years. This was a lovely flick down the leg side from Mutasami. A welcome boundary for the Northwest Dragons. They've been flirting with that run rate at 6 and over. This partnership is currently 23 runs, and it's all been done with some very calm and thoughtful thoughtful batting. Some good cricket from these two. There's a lot of confusion right now with the Lions. Trying to find where that extra fielder outside the ring is going to be, and it was a toss-up between third man and fine leg, won the debate right now. So we've got fine leg, deep square, and mid wicket.
Slow ball bouncer there by Sipamla, pulled down towards fine leg. And of course, fine leg dropping back ensures that mid-off comes back up into the ring. And
It's a line question more often, right? Initially, what the Lions were asking for Luto was to push the ball across the left-hander. Now they've realized that if he bowls it down middle stump, it's going to be flicked across the leg side by Mutusami with those great wrists. So they're trying to give themselves a little bit of protection there.
Worked into the onside by Ngwepe. They're looking for two. Ngwepe not interested in a second.
Whipper's change in field is different to Mutusami's, but that brings the end of the over. 66 for 4 are the Auto Investment Dragons. The partnership is 25 runs at a run rate of 6 and over. But these two are working really well together. The Lions will be looking to not let this partnership go away from them as the Dragons look for these two to take them for the next 4 or 5 overs until you can give Miguel Pretorius, who is not a master blaster, but has a strike rate of 131, and Duan Janssen, who has a strike rate of 151. So you've got some power hitting there in the back of that batting lineup, but you've got to give themselves a chance at getting a total.
Down the ground comes Ngwepe. A lot of work from Mulder at long on, and it does well to keep it down to 1. And at this stage, into the 12th over, 67 on the board. These two would really like to go for about 4 overs at least now. Get them to around about 15 overs, assess the condition, look where they're at, and then give that platform an opportunity for Miguel Pretorius and Duan Janssen to try and launch a few at there and get them to a good total as Senran Mutusami goes up and over, inside out. An excellent cricket shot by Senran Mutusami with the turn on the up.
One of the hardest shots in cricket, and Senran Mutusami does it with aplomb. 10 out of 10 there. Great shot for 6. I was going to say they need a boundary and over. Now they've gotten their boundary with the second ball of the over. Riza Hendricks is bowling. There's a chance to take a little bit more risks here for the Dragons.
That's worked into the onside. Firmly struck. Not really a chance of a second there. But you can just see a bit of experience there from Mutusami with the turn to the short boundary. Great batsmanship by Mutusami.
He's showing all the maturity in the world as the captain of this Dragon side.
Down the track comes Ngwepe with his pitching wedge down towards long off. Some good fielding done by Potgieter.
Landed like a ball on a soft green. Nice little chip.
2 putts and you're there, Mpo.
For him, for the rest of us, it might take us 3 or 4. But really good, sensible batting. Just looking at manipulating the field, and it's been a joy to watch these two.
Rocks back and hits that one into the leg side. That one once again sliding on with the arm by Hendricks.
Missed opportunity by Senran Mutusami. It was a short ball. He did recognize it. Just didn't have the timing to get it to the boundary.
Yeah, it did look like that one skid on a bit. Hendricks now to finish out his third. Ngwepe on the lap. Picks out the fielder at short, fine leg. That brings an end to Hendricks' third over. He's gone for 18 in his 3. The score now 76 for 4 after 12. And the Dragons really have done well to get back into this one, Paul.
Yes, another positive over from the Dragons. 10 off of that over. They needed a boundary every over. They got that very early, which made their jobs a lot easier. And to a certain extent in a T20 game like this, when you're behind the 8 ball, it's just about just getting yourself a chance. Get the boundary early, rotate the strike, and you're there. 76 for 4. The Auto Investment Dragons chose to bat first, and they've lost 4 wickets, like the first 40 runs, with Vian Libba out for 10, Mikael Prince out for 15, Rena van Tonda out for 13, Ruben Hammond was out for 1. But these two in the middle have a partnership of 35, and they're going really well, giving the Dragons some life, something to hold on to, as Delano Potgieter resumes.
Once again, all into the wicket. It's Potgieter with a shy at the bowler's end. Unfortunately misses. The direct hit might have sent him packing.
It would have, as Mutusami was moving away from the ball, but he didn't want to cross the line of the popping crease. So it was quite an interesting. It would have been an interesting situation as he's trying to evade from getting belted by a ball in the back, but also could have cost him his wicket.
Delano Potgieter back into the attack now for the Lions, and once again that one back of a length delivery, not necessarily getting up as much as the batter would have anticipated. Ngwepe now goes hard at one outside the off stump. A lot of work to do, and a beautiful catch taken by the fielder at extra cover. Looks like Mitchell van Buren there at extra cover.
MVB doing MVB things in the outfield. May have injured himself a little bit there, but it was actually, a bigger pardon, Bjorn Fortuin doing MVP type things there as the captain. May have injured himself there, but most importantly, his team have another wicket. It's Delano Potgieter, the man with the golden arm. He didn't have a great first over, he went for 11, but in his second over, he comes out with a wicket. Ngwepe swiping across the line on a ball he shouldn't have been swiping across the line to, and getting caught on the offside for 12.
Yeah, and for another probably close to run a ball innings, 12 of 13 he departs for, and that really has been the story of the day. Really, apart from Mutusami, all the other batters really struggled to get going here. And a beautiful piece of fielding there by Bjorn Fortuin. It did look like his knee got a bit stuck in the ground there, but the fall of Ngwepe brings to the middle Michael Pretorius. Another hard-hitting right-handed batter for the Auto Investments Dragons is Michael Pretorius, an experienced campaigner across the franchise system. He's been playing all across the world really in the T20 circuit.
Yeah.
Is Pretorius.
From Vereniging to the world is something you can use. Another one with promise, and that's what I like about this Northwest team. There's a lot of young cricketers who have a high ceiling, but it's up to obviously the coaches, Craig Alexander and his team, to try to get the best out of him. They're doing that well. Miguel Pretorius has played in the Caribbean in the CPL. He's also playing in SA 20 for the Pretoria Capitals. So they'll be relying on his experience here with the bat to see if he can't get them over the line and give them something.
Into the pads, and Miguel Pretorius sets off.
The other thing to look at from a Proteas perspective, obviously, he's an all-round option. Obviously, the Proteas have Marco Jansen, Vian Mulder to look into from an all-round perspective. Wayne Parnell, he will be wanting that this season be a season where nobody forgets that he also is an all-round option. They've also got Ruan de Swart in this side as well, but he's the 12th man for today. Slow ball bumper from Delano Potgieter.
Delano Potgieter especially, another one that can be, whose name can be thrown into the hat there for the all-rounder debate.
Especially with the retirement of Chris Morris, as well as Dwayne Pretorius, who used to play for both of these teams as well, right? So there is a lot to look for, and there's a lot to fight for, and hopefully Miguel is up there.
Once again, off-base delivery, back of a length, and Potgieter really has shown a clean skill set here today.
Some good captaincy here, some good bowling strategies, right? So you can see that the Lions understand that Miguel Pretorius struggles with the slow ball that's a little bit short. So 2 slow ball bounces to start off with. Got away with a lucky one there that looped up to fine leg in the ring.
Potgieter now to finish out his second. He's bowling to Mutusami.
Oh!
On the bounce back to Potgieter, and that season end to the 13th over. The score now 78 for 5.
Yes, Dragons going at 6.2 runs and over, losing a wicket in that over, a wicket and 2 runs out of that over. That last partnership between Ngwepe and Mutusami was with 35, and now another one needs to start to try and get them over the line. And I think the strategy the strategy from the Dragons is that these two need to go as deep as possible and take it as late as possible. We're going to get a bowling change, but as you look, Dawood has taken 2 wickets, Mapaka 1, Reza Hendricks 1, and Delano Potgieter 1. The only bowler who hasn't taken a wicket today for the Lions is Luto Sipamla. But because we have a right-hander, what does that mean, Vian?
Now we see a change of bowling now from the university, and it's Junaid Dawood back into the attack. And I do think we're going to see a lot of spin here towards the latter part of the innings. I think Bjorn Fortuin also has 2 more to come, and with a lot of right-handers to come in the lower order, I can't imagine.
Catching cover, catching mid-wicket. You've got bowlers all around the leg side, on the fence, 2 on the offside. It's square leg as well as long on. Bringing that long on in right now with Reza Hendricks. Single taken. Great shot there by Miguel Pretorius. There's a lot of opportunity on the offside for the right-hander, so your eyes could light up to try and hit it hard and try to sneak it through a gap, but sense prevails. They need a boundary off of every over at this point in time. 10 and over, it will get them close to about 140. That's 60 runs off the next well, it will be 70 runs off the next 7 overs, which is 150. So they are going to be looking at these two to take them over the line. Dawood into Mutusami. Comes down the wicket. It's easy. There's a single because all the fielders on the leg side bar Luto Sipamla, who's at 3rd man in the ring, are all on the leg side. So it's easy singles for Mutusami.
Now the short boundary now for the right-handed Pretorius now. It's a bit of a risk playing against the turn, but I think if the ball's in his area, he might take it on.
So square leg, mid-wicket and long off. But he chooses to send it to long on again. Give himself room, open that front leg and punch it to the offside.
Yeah, at this stage, I think if they get close to 130, it might be something to bowl at. I think 120 might be competitive if they can get early wickets. But with the powerful batting lineup the Lions possess, with Proteas batters all around, I think 130 might be a minimum for the Dragons here if they are to have a chance to win this one.
Lovely cut from Mutusami. Only worth 1. Kwena Mapaka, the fielder, at the point boundary. Left, right, making the Lions team work a little bit. One of the worst things for a cricketer is having a left-right combination. Every ball, you're moving. Now Temba Bavuma moving, Bjorn Fortuin moving to point. Bavuma catching cover. They've moved out that catching mid-wicket.
I think mid-wicket's jumped over to a short 3rd man. They have point, short 3rd man, extra cover, 45 on the leg side, deep square, deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and a sweeper on the offside fence.
And it's up, it's straight. Is it going to be caught? No, for a 1 bounce 4. Really good striking there from Miguel Pretorius. It was a little bit too full, and he climbed all over it. Very straight. Teeing off the first tee here in Potchefstroom, Miguel Pretorius gets it down for about 300 meters, and his team gets 4 runs.
That's a beautiful strike by Pretorius down the ground, piercing the long off and long on fielders.
Short and pulled. Missed opportunity. You can see him hitting his pad there. Now the single that ends that over. 1 boundary and 5 singles. Gets them 9 runs. It's another good positive over for the Northwest Dragons, whose run rate moved to 6.4. 87 for 5 here at the JB Marks Oval.
Yeah, 87 for 5, 6 overs to come. Had a run a ball, they'll get just a bit over 120 at this stage. They'd love to go at 8 and over at least, I think, from here. That'll get them over 130. I think if these two can go till the end, I think they might be in it for a 140 plus, maybe even 150 score here, which would be ideal as we see Potgieter to continue again from the JB Marks end.
Yeah, so Lions have used 6 bowlers. You'll be surprised to see Reza Hendricks bowler going at 6 runs and over, 1 for 18. Junaid Dawood 2 for 22. They are nearly done, but they're going to be reliant on their quicks to close it out. One of them is Delano Potgieter from the JB Marks end. That one is pierced past the fielder at cover. down to that fielder at the long on, very wideish long on boundary for a single.
Now that brings Mutusami back on strike. He's now got the shorter side to his leg side, but I can't imagine Delano Potgieter will go straight to him. I think his ploy might be to bowl those off cutters, maybe at off stump, maybe back of a length, try to get him to hit straight and to the offside.
Pushed it wide, gets an edge and past Junaid Dawood, who couldn't do much about that at short third man. But another 4 from Pretorius. He's coming here dealing with 4s, 9 off of 8 right now.
Yeah, Mutusami going hard at that one outside off stump. And they say if you go hard, and an edge gets it past the short third man fielder, and that one races away to the fence. And really good looking outfield here, Mpo, at the JB Marks Oval in Potchefstroom.
Yes, about 150 kilometers away from Johannesburg, west of Johannesburg on the N12. You could call this an N12 derby if you are that geographically inclined. And the Northwest Dragons are hoping to get themselves something. You gotta give yourself a chance, and one of the ways to give yourselves a chance to winning any game is to taking it as deep as possible, because in T20 cricket especially, anything can happen. Minnows can beat the bigger named teams or more star-laden teams, as Sidran Mutusami is trying everything and anything to get his team going. Was looking to do a reverse lap, reverse sweep, caught in many minds there, and just only managing to just get hit outside the leg stump. So he might have a bruise after that, but he might also have a little bit of a laugh under that helmet.
Oh, maybe better off standing still there, trying to hit it through the leg side, the shorter side of the field. As Potgieter now continues from the JB Marks end.
Fuller ball, driven out, dug out by Mutusami to mid-wicket, mid-on. Very good there, but this over has already gotten its boundary, Vian. But with 1 ball remaining, they have only got 6 runs and over. They'll be looking possibly for another boundary here, with 5 overs after this.
I think Pretorius might look to get off strike here, and being off strike means he gets back on strike for the next over. I think they might continue to spin from this end. Maybe something he fancies.
Jeez, he pulled that outside the off-stump line to deep square leg. Rassie van der Dussen, the fielder. Interesting enough, we said Reza Hendricks was number 4 at the Pakistan Super League, but Rassie van der Dussen left the Super League as number 2 run scorer in the PSL for the Lahore Qalandars. I think his strike rate was 150, and had scored 346 runs. And we're going to be seeing a bowling change happening. Captain Bjorn Fortuin coming back. He's only bowled 2 overs. So if you look at the last 5 overs, right, you've got Junaid Dawood with 1, Reza Hendricks with 1. You've also got Bjorn Fortuin with 2 more. You're not going to go with 4 overs of spin. How many overs of quick bowling are you going to go with?
That's an interesting one, yeah. I think Bjorn Fortuin might bowl 1 now, maybe 1 later, or he'll finish up now. If he can get a wicket in this over, he'll look to get well into the tail. There's another person behind the side screen again. It's Fortuin now to Michael Pretorius. Full outside off stump.
Valiant attempt from Temba Bavuma at cover. It was a bump ball, so it wouldn't have been out, but it would have been a spectacular fielding from him nonetheless. A single to start off the over.
Temba Bavuma, renowned for his fielding. He's famously running out David Warner in that test series against the Australians.
Yes. Yes, one of the things that made us fall in love with Temba was that moment. Really, really lively in the field for all the teams he plays for. And he is stumped. Really great wicket there from Bjorn Fortuin and Ryan Rickleton. Mutusami was looking to come down the wicket to try and get the ball over Reza Hendricks' head at long on, but he found himself missing the ball with it going away from him. It then, with Ryan Rickleton, with some quick glove work to stump him out. He's out for 33 off of 25. This last partnership was with 18, but Fortuin returns and gets a wicket.
Beautiful piece of bowling there by Bjorn Fortuin, slowing it up nicely, getting Mutusami to come down the ground and into a beautiful innings by Sendra Mutusami. It really did look like he has been playing on a really different square than the rest of the players so far today. Runs haven't been easy to come by, but he really did play a free-flowing innings here, Paul.
It was a free-flowing innings, and you can see that he's slightly disappointed in himself. But Bjorn Fortuin, the master that he is from a wicket-taking perspective, recognizing that Mutusami was going to come down the wicket, and he pushed it, right? We've seen Bjorn in the first over, he was pushing the ball through to the keeper as much as possible, but you thought he was playing in the power play. First ball in the game, first ball after the power play, he hung it up for Pretorius, who played it really nicely, and then the next ball pushed it in again, and Mutusami was caught wanting. So it's 95 for 6, run rate of 6.34. The Dragons, remember, they won the toss and chose to bat here. Par score on average is 164 for day games. You've also got an even split between teams batting first and teams batting second, so there's no advantage in that. So to a certain extent, the age-old cricket adage, Vian, is we'll obviously have to wait to see both teams bat first on the surface. But so far, it's a good surface for spinners, so taking pace off the ball make it very hard for you to score runs. But there's ample runs for you off the square.
Beautiful ball, quick and into the pads by Fortuin, who does the fielding of his own bowling. And the wicket of Mutusami brings to the crease one of the taller guys around, Duan Jansen. Another left-arm seamer, bats right-handed. He hits it a mile, Mpo.
Yes, also has a very famous brother, Marco Jansen, who plays for the Warriors. It's up in the air and easy catch for Delano Portrita. Really error-strewn batting from the Dragons. Just brain freezes after brain freezes here at the JB Marks Oval.
And once again, not the best batsmanship by the Dragons batters. Once again, 2 wickets falling after each other. Previously happened early on in this game as well, and a bit of a coach killer there. Just the momentum just slightly tilting towards the Dragons before this over, and Bjorn Fortuin with the experience, the captain of the Lions, taking it on himself, coming on, and a double strike for the Lions once again, and well into the tail now are the Lions.
Yes, well into the tail. Miguel Pretorius will be very disappointed for his 11 runs off of 11 balls. The next man in is Bamanye Trengwe. He was another signing, one of the many signings. We had like many incomings here at Northwest, with a lot of the older players going over. You could say that they refreshed and they went a little bit younger as well in terms of their cricketing squad. And Bamanye Trengwe comes in. Was a revelation last year in the CSA T20 challenge. Took quite a few wickets there for the Paarl Rocks. Crucial wickets, bowled really well. Medium pacer that can swing the ball. So be interesting. But from a batting perspective, he has a high score of 51. That was for Border, which was his home province, against Gauteng in East London in 2018-19. Nice little ball down the leg side, covering that front pad. Single taken. Score goes up to 97. Both batters now on 1. As you mentioned earlier, Vian, another situation where there's 2 new batters at the crease. If you can avoid that in T20 cricket, you give yourself a very good chance of scoring a lot of runs. And Jansen with the sense to just take on that leg side field. Everyone's on the boundary, take the single. Let's get to the end of the over, which is now. It is 4 runs off of this over with 2 wickets, and the Auto Investment Dragons find themselves in a whole lot of trouble at 98 for 7 with 4 overs to go.
Yeah, 98 for 7, 4 overs left. A lot of options for Forte now, the skipper of the Lions side. He himself has one to bowl. It looks like he's going to give his spin bowling partner Junaid Dawood one as well. I'd imagine there will be 2 of the last 4. Dawood will bowl this one, Forte in 1. Then you'll probably be stuck with Potgieter for 1, I think, and maybe Mpaka for the last one. I don't know what's your thoughts.
I think you could go with that, but obviously they've lost so many wickets, right? And the Dragons are struggling with spin. And right now the Lions are bowling incredibly well with no extras. If you look at the bottom of this chart here, 0 extras. It's a really great disciplined bowling performance, which is why I would say continue with the spinners. If they're working and you need 3 wickets to go, why not? Junaid Dawood to resume. Now that turned square. Very square. Wow. Everyone here at the stadium didn't know where that ball was going.
Janssen with a little bit of bat on that one. I think he maybe, if he didn't get a bit of bat on that one, I think he would have been on his way back to the dugout now. And a beautiful piece of bowling by Dawood, and especially low order batters sometimes struggle to pick the wrist spinners. And an interesting challenge now for the Northwest Dragons now with Dawood in his last over. Mpo, what do you think will be the approach here by the batters? Maybe take it as deep as possible, launch at the end, taking them down now? What do you think?
Over 18, I think. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So run a ball until over 18 and maybe see if you can't take it to what, 130 or so. But good fielding there from Bjorn Fortuin to prevent the single. Bamanye looking to take on that offside. There's not a lot of fielders on the offside. There's a lot of room on the leg side, but with Dawood taking the ball away from him, it's really hard for him to access the leg side. And so it's also very hard for Bamanye Klindley to try be aggressive. The only way he can access the leg side is if he is aggressive and plays across the line of the spinner. And that's the reason why that dot ball happened before. It's a tough period for the Dragons here.
It does look like they have decided to see him out and rather keep those last few wickets in hand for the end of the innings.
Is it a decision or is it an ability thing? Because I'm looking at this going, it's turning away from me. If I go down the leg side, gives me an opportunity to get out, and he does. And he's given out by the umpire. Junaid Dawood takes his 3rd wicket for 23 runs, and Bamanye Klindley trying to access that leg side again, going across the line. He didn't fully commit, popped up. Ryan Rickleton did the rest, and Junaid Dawood is having a great debut for the Lions in the CSA T20.
As you said, Mpo, it's that indecision, that what are you going to do, what's your mindset, and that's where a lot of the wickets fall, is in the mindset. Is in the mind is where most of the wickets are taken these days, or not these days, I think forever it's been the case. But the batter being in a defensive mindset, looking not to get out rather than looking to score perhaps, and with a ball that he could have scored off, was in 2 minds to go forward or back, to hit the ball or not. Gets a bit of a bat on it, the ball pops up and he's back in the dugout.
So if we look at that wicket again, ball's going to go away from Bamanye. He's going to be like, I'm trying to go in, but then he stopped. I don't know why. And it popped up, probably even hit a glove and got him out. He thinks it hit his forearm, which means he wouldn't be out. But the umpire is the ultimate arbiter. We don't have DRS here, but we do have replays courtesy of Pitch Vision.
It did look like he got a bit of glove on that one, but as we alluded to earlier, if had he been in a mindset to score, he would have been forward and swept that properly, and I think he would have been better off looking to score there.
I also think he would have been better off coming down the wicket and trying to smother the spin and forcing it down to the leg side, right? Just some, and that's the characteristic of this Northwest. It's just some not optimal decision making. I don't want to say bad decision making, but it's been suboptimal from them today. Caleb Seleka, the Potch boy, the homeboy, punching the ball back to Dawood.
Caleb Seleka, obviously a very similar player to Junaid Dawood, which he faced now. And I think based on what we've seen play out here today, I think Seleka will be licking his lips to get going here this afternoon.
He would. So that's the end of Junaid Dawood's 4 overs. 3 for 23. This last over went for 1 run as the Dragons are stuck on 99 for 8. And Junaid Dawood taking home a clump of wickets. And the Auto Investment Northwest Dragons will be hoping that the two homeboys, Duan Jansen and Caleb Seleka, will be hoping that they get themselves something to bowl at.
Yeah, boy, it's 3 overs to go. Duan Jansen on strike. It looks like Kwenan Parker is making his return to the bowling crease now. He's I think he bowled 2 overs early on. 1 wicket for 8 runs. It really was impressive up front with the new ball. But you get the sense now from the Northwest Dragons or the Auto Investments Dragons point of view, it's Duan Jansen or nothing here. If Duan needs to hit a few here, he needs to get a few to get them into a position where they can be competitive or to maybe get a score here so which they can defend.
We've got about 18 balls, and I think the equation here for Northwest is to try to get to a 120, 130. What Kwenan Parker's been told. Ball Yorkers. Let's see how many we can get. Down the leg side, first extra of the innings. It took them close to 18 balls left for the first wide to be bowled, first extra to be bowled, and it's bowled by the youngster. Unfortunately, because Jansen went down the offside trying to lap it off, but that brings up the 100 for the Auto Investment Dragons. What that means is that Gwena still has 6 balls to Duan Jansen, so we might see a little bit more Yorkers then.
Yeah, 5 guys out on the fence, deep square, deep in wicket, long off, long on, and sweep on the offside.
Yorker length ball there. Duan Jansen looking to access that leg side, that short leg side, but Gwena not being able to. Gwena bowling really well here. Look at this length of this ball. Jansen prepared to go down the leg side, opening up that leg, but Gwena finding that front leg.
Yeah, and Parker really showing a bit of extra pace there, quick and into the pads of Jansen. It's going to be an interesting battle here between the two left-hand bowlers.
The matriculant in. Another Yorker length ball. Really, really good to see Parker accessing that block hole with ease.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of death bowling here by Kwenan Parker. And Jansen will be waiting for one that he misses his mark.
2 weeks ago.
2 in a row there.
2 weeks ago, Gwena was playing in the Johnny Waite knockout final, which is a producer Lemus is unfair to other kids. Another Yorker length ball driven down the ground this time by Jansen. Jansen's waiting for the ball to come across him. For the Yorker length ball that's on middle and off that he can, throw his arms at. He got one now, but it can only result in a 1.
Yeah, Duan Jansen looking for something he can maybe get under and release those long levers that he possesses. And Mapaka will be favouring his chances now at the lower order batter, Caleb Seleka. 101 for 8 now. 2.5 overs to come.
Yeah, same modus operandi here for Gwena. Bowl it in that block hole. But here's something interesting. They might bowl it short. Long off is coming in to the circle with fine leg going out on that leg side. Oh, that's a shout, but it's going to be not out. Umpire does not even seem bothered there. But again, another ball in that block hole. A little bit of an
inside edge there indicated by the umpire as we see the replay now. Maybe would have been outside leg as well. But the umpire obviously not giving leg buys, so clearly indicating a little bat on that. But so far, an excellent display of death bowling here by Mapaka.
Still has to go back and do his homework after this. As this one goes up in the air and is caught at deep mid-wicket. Really, really good catch by Vian Mulder. Kwenan Mapaka gets a second wicket, and the Auto Investment Dragons are 9 down for 102.
Beautiful piece of bowling by Mpaka, not giving the batters anything to get under and release their arms. A frustrated Duan Jansen has to depart the crease. He made 4 of 7 balls. Had to witness a lot of wickets falling at the other end while he was in.
What I would say is actually that's the one ball that was slightly shorter that Duan was actually waiting for to get under, and he didn't connect with it that well to clear that short boundary, and it resulted in a wicket. It's just really unfortunate. He's been waiting for that ball the whole over, but it just never. When it came, he mistimed it, and so Duan Jansen is out. Kotvian Mulder bowled Gwena Mpaka 4 for 7, and the Auto Investment Dragons, who won the toss and chose to bat first here at the JB Marks Oval, are 102 for 9. And we've got one last batter coming in. The number 11 is Hlompo Mudimukwane, only having played one game for the he's a pace bowler for the Northwest Dragons. His brother surprisingly plays for the Dolphins, and he's an off spinner. As Mpaka block hole. This kid.
Yeah.
Oh, now imagine 2 weeks ago he was playing for St. Stithians in the Johnny Wade final in Johannesburg. It's a tournament in with the Johannesburg schools. They lost that final surprisingly, but imagine you being an under 19 cricketer in Johannesburg and Gwena just rocks up there for Saints. As Liam says, it's a little bit unfair, but this kid is something special.
Yeah, Gwena Mpaka, not 18 years old, not allowed to drive by his own, but he's here playing against the big boys and really standing his man, facing his own, or really playing well. His 3 overs, 2 for 11, opening the bowling for one of the leading franchises in South African cricket. And Gwena Mpaka, obviously player of the tournament in the recently concluded SA Under-19 World Cup as well, of the World Cup, which was played here in South Africa. Definitely someone with a bright future in South African cricket.
Yes, he is, and he was part of the SA Emerging side, which was that SA Under-19 side that was preparing themselves for the World Cup, that won the Division 2 50 over tournament. Luto Sipamla from the JB Marks Oval end, and Caleb Seleka with an agricultural hoik that only gets him a single.
Yeah, the Auto Investment Dragons now really will take what they can get here. In danger of being bowled out within their 20 overs after winning the toss and electing to bat first. Maybe they know something. What does Drikkers to precies say? Hulle weet nie wat ons weet nie. Maybe knowing something about the wicket here, maybe difficult to chase this afternoon. A bit of cloud, maybe a possibility of rain later on as well.
That's what we're... Oh, what a ball from Luto Sipamla, clearing out middle stump of Hlompo Mudimukwane. In Hlompo's defense, he hasn't batted all that often. And this is the first time he's actually batting at this level, and he is clean bowled by Luto Sipamla. 103 all out. If the Northwest Dragons know something or we don't, we're in for a treat. So those two stick around as the second innings goes underway. But this is bonus point territory for the Lions. Luto finally gets a wicket. All the bowlers from the Lions today got a wicket. As we look at this last one, Hlompo taking middle stump guard, but it doesn't do much, doesn't help much, doesn't protect much. It's gone.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was never his job to be out here to score runs. The batters of the Auto Investment Dragons really letting them down. And you have to say a good piece of bowling as well by the Lions here this afternoon. And we're in for an interesting run chase. As we said, a powerful batting lineup by the Lions, and really sort of a Proteas trial run here for the top order of the Lions.
Look, you've got Rassie van der Dussen, Reza Hendricks, Temba Bavuma, as well as Ryan Rickleton, all Proteas Vian Mulder as well to add to that. All Proteas looking for a spot on the plane to the ICC T20 World Cup in the West Indies and the USA. As we see the Lions come off, we'll give you a sense of the goings on in this game right now with the scorecard before we go on to the break. But the Lions really played really well. Junaid Dawood taking 3 for 23. But if you look at it, the Auto Investment Dragons 103 all out, having won the toss and choosing to bowl. Vian Libber was the first batter to go. He was caught. Ryan Rickleton bowled by Gwenama Parker for 10. The next batter out was Reynard van Tonde. He was caught by Delano Porgita off the bowling of Junaid Dawood for 13. The second wicket in that over was Mikhail Prince, caught by Reza Hendricks off the bowling of Junaid Dawood at long on for 15. Ruben Herman then went in the next over. These 3 wickets went for effectively 3 runs. Ruben Herman clean bowled by Reza Hendricks. Yes, Reza Hendricks is a bowler too and gives you an option with the ball. Lisiba Ngwepe came in. He was the next man out for 12 off the bowling of Delano Porgita, caught Bjorn Fortuin. Senran Mutusami was the next one out. He was stumped off the bowling of Bjorn Fortuin. He came down the wicket and missed the ball. Great keeping from Rickleton for 33. Miguel Pretorius was out, caught in the deep by Delano Porgita off the bowling of Bjorn Fortuin in the same over. 2 wickets falling in the same over for the Dragons, again with new batters at the crease for the second time. And then the tail didn't give much. Janssen was out for 4. He was bowled Gwenama Parker, caught Vian Mulder in the deep. Bamanye Glenley was caught Ryan Rickleton off the bowling of Junaid Dawood, looking to play down the leg side to a ball going away from him. And then Luto Sipamla took the last wicket of Hlampo Mudimogwane for 1. That leaves Caleb Sleka on 2. From a bowling perspective,
a really disciplined bowling performance. At the end of the day, 1 extra, only the 1 wide by Kwena Mapaka here at the end. Really disciplined, beautiful bowling performance by the Lions, and really not giving the Auto Investment Dragons an opportunity to score, and really relentless bowling by the Lions. Pick of the bowlers probably Kwena Mapaka. 3 overs, 2 for 11, going at an economy of under 4 an over in a T20 is exceptional. And the Lions bowlers really were backed up by an exceptional fielding performance as well. And you think back especially to the catch the Lions skipper Bjorn Fortuin took. From us here in the commentary box, don't go too far. We'll be right back for the run chase. Good afternoon and welcome back to the JB Marks Oval in Potchefstroom. If you're just joining us now, the Northwest Dragons, or the Auto Investments Dragons as they are known, have won the toss and they elected to bat first. And after winning the toss, they struggled to 103 all out in 18.2 overs, and an excellent bowling display by the Lions, accompanied by some ordinary batting by the Dragons. I'm Vian du Plessis, and with me in the commentary box we have Mpo. Mpo, what have you made of the first innings of this game?
The Dragons will be disappointed, but this can be quick and easy for the Lions, or fun and painful for all of us.
As we see the first spinner in the first over already, we did see the spinners work the charm for the Lions as Mutusami bowls around the wicket to Ryan Rickleton, who rocks back and absolutely thumbs that one down the ground. He opens his account for the Lions, and there is an absolute silence around the JB Marks Oval.
Look, Ryan had no right to hit that ball down the ground for 6 from there with a horizontal bat. There was no room in there. It was short, but he found a way to give himself a little bit of room. And yeah, well done to him.
Mutusami to Rickleton, who thumbs that one down the ground. Looks like Vian Libber down at long on doing the fielding. Of course, this is the first power play. Only 2 fielders allowed outside the 30-yard circle. For the left-hander, there was a deep wicket and long on in place. For the right-handed, Riza Hendricks, especially prolific scorer in the last couple of months, or last couple of years really. They have long off, and it looks like a fielder between deep square leg and deep mid-wicket, almost a deep square leg in front of square, as Mutusami continues.
Riza's had a really tough time in SA20. Couldn't get a lot of runs for the Joburg Super Kings in the first SA20, but a trip to Pakistan has changed all of that. Number 4 top run scorer in the PSL before they came back home.
That's another good piece of bowling by Mutusami. Senran Mutusami, almost the only shining light for the Auto Investment Dragons in that first innings. He scored a very good 30-odd. Quick and into the pads of Riza Hendricks, who works that one into the leg side. And that brings an end to the first over. 6 for no loss after 1 over.
And we're seeing out to the west, the clouds are starting to gather. It's been a really hot afternoon, so there's a lot for the Lions to contend with. The first thing is for them to get to 6 overs. Once they get to 6 overs, we have a game. And we'll be getting you the Duckworth Lewis par right now for this first over is 8, which is really interesting, since the Northwest Dragons finished under a runner ball. But I think it's 8 for the second over. At the end of the second over, it's 8 runs, right? So you've got that. You've got the rain to contend with, but also this wicket, which is favouring spin. But we're going to see what the Northwest seamers in Duan Janssen, Muti Mukwane, Miguel Pretorius can do on this wicket. It is their home surface, so they'll be more accustomed to it.
Yeah, Duan Janssen now from the JB Marks end. He's going to be bowling at Riza Hendricks. He's got a deep square leg, third man out, the 2 fielders that are outside. One slip in place. Bit of a wide one to start off with.
So it's taken 7 balls for the first extra. It took the Lions 96 balls for their first extra. So kind of gives you a sense of where they are. The Lions only had 1 wide. This is the first wide for the Dragons, and it's only 7. This innings is only 7 balls old.
Now the Lions obviously have a very, very powerful batting lineup. Very experienced, very sought after lineup. As Janssen continues down the leg side, very, very close to the leg stump, but nonetheless 2 wides in a row to start off with.
Yeah, it's kind of giving you a sense of Duan Janssen just trying to find that rhythm. He obviously is his first is the opening spell, so it might take him a little bit of time, but the radar needs to get dialed in. Let's see if third time's a charm now.
Janssen into Hendricks.
Much better ball there. cut to point.
Very good shot as well there by Hendricks on top of the bounce. And a yard or two to the right.
So
Fetching that one from the fence.
So over the years, he's worked on trying to be very aggressive at the top. As we see the man from the leg side moving to offside at point. He was at mid-wicket in the ring. Now he's going to point. So you've got backward point, conventional point, cover. And you've also got mid-on, who's very wide. You could even call him extra cover on the offside with a slip.
It's tucked into the leg side. The vacant leg side, really. Looks like Pretoria's down at square leg doing the fielding.
Yeah, so Reeza's worked on trying to be a little bit more aggressive at the top. He's pushed up his strike rate as much as possible. I think pre-COVID is a line that you'd have to do from a demarcation perspective. His strike rate is around 120, but he's been required by many of his coaches to push that strike rate up at the top, and he's managed to do that. Reeza has been a phenomenal batter in T20 cricket at the top of the order, which is always the hardest. Mzansi Super League, he was the top run scorer there. Remember that tournament. SA T20, he had a really good season last year. He also had a great year for the Proteas as the top batter in T20 cricket.
Janssen out to Rickleton. Edge through the vacant gully region. A lot of work for the third man fielder. Does well. Comes around, keeps it to 1.
Yes, the fielder there was Sompo Mudimugwane. 94 needed to win. Rickleton scored 75 against the Rocks on Friday, and Hendricks scored 28. They had a 50 odd run partnership before the wickets started falling. So these two know how to bat well together, and that's what they'll be hoping to give the Lions that.
On the money by Janssen, and a good forward defensive by Hendricks. Reza Hendricks, of course, a couple of years ago was seen as the follow-up or the replacement batter for his now batting coach Hashim Amla when he was still playing, and really has taken advantage of all the opportunities he has gotten with the national side. One of the more unlucky players over the last probably decade not to have been more around the national side.
It's
Sure. That's a beautiful cricket shot by Reza Hendricks, clipped off his legs, and an absolute silence once again.
Simply
astonishment.
simply delightful from Reza. Just a beautiful shot. You err in length and line. Actually, it's more line, not length. And Reza just clipping that. We spoke about a pitching wedge. That's more of a dialed-in sand wedge. 60 meters out to 2 meters onto the pin. That's how good the timing that was.
Lovely bit of wrist work by Reza Hendricks. Hendricks, of course, at school level, a really good hockey player as well. Pulled away, beats the short, fine leg fielder. And no one's going to catch that one. That brings an end to the second over. The score now 18 for no loss after 2. And the Auto Investment Dragons need something special here to take this one back.
Yes, they do. And you've got 12 runs off of that over. You kind of got a sense that Duan Janssen was in between two minds. He bowled a full one, got hit for 4. He bowls a short one again, gets hit for 4. You can see now at the top of your screens that the lights are taking full effect. It's getting a little bit dark here as there is a storm approaching, coming from the western part of this ground. That's where the big storms come. For those in Gauteng, they know where that storm comes in. This is the big storm that's leading all the way down to Gauteng.
Yeah, if you see some threatening clouds there, looks like the western side. And from a cricketing perspective, I ideally love for this game to go the distance. As the lights come on here, it's Michael Pretorius now from the university end. In the block hole, Rickleton squeezes it out towards the deep backward point region. And they come back for a second round. Rickleton especially been a talking point as well over the last couple of seasons. It's been a toss-up between him and Carl Verreyn in the test side. And after the retirement in the white ball stuff from Quinton de Kock, a lot of questions have been asked.
And the problem is he's fighting against his batting partner here. That last ball from Miguel Pretorius, by the way, nothing wrong with that. just Ryan Rickleton is dialed in, having a great season of his life.
Hard length, and it's a splice of the bat. Goes over mid-off. It's Duan Janssen. He puts in the chase and does well to reel it back.
Yes.
Rickleton and some excellent running as he comes through for a third.
Yeah, really good. Mistimed a little bit there from Miguel Petros, a little bit of a slower ball there. I think the Lions will be wanting to get to 6 overs. The Dragons are going to be trying to hold on, because if the storm comes in very quickly, I don't think we'll be back on again. So there might be a little bit more gamesmanship, especially with the left-right combination. But to speak about Ryan, right, he's competing against Rassie van der Dis and Temba Bavuma and Ryan and Reza Hendricks for that top spot. They're all his teammates.
That's a beautiful looking cricket shot there by Hendricks. And to come back to your point, it's the whole top 6 almost of the Lions on display now, maybe competing for 2, maybe 3 spots in the Proteas extended squad for the World Cup especially.
And it's not just only them. Obviously, you've got Matthew Bretzker, who possibly might take over the Quinton spot. Quinton himself might want to come back into the T20 setup.
It's nicely worked into the offside, and there's a lot of guys, especially in the shortest format now. You power hitters. You think of Heinrich Klaasen, who's one of the best batters in the world, if he isn't the best batter in the world in white ball cricket. You've got Tristan Stubbs, who can take the gloves as well, powerful hitter. You've got Donovan Ferreira with the Titans, powerful hitter, can take the gloves, can bowl off spin. Then you haven't even started talking about the Dewald Brevises and all those guys. So a lot of competition in the white ball setup now. As we see Pretorius going over the wicket to Ryan Rickleton. Worked into the leg side. An easy single.
Really good single from these two. And the contrasting difference between the Dragons and the Lions is that the Dragons were looking for boundaries. The Lions are looking for runs. And they're willing to nudge and nurdle when the option is not there. Be aggressive when bad balls happen, but outside of that, look to nudge and nurdle. And to a certain extent, that's where T20 cricket has gone. The Dragons, being a young side, the Auto Investment Dragons being a young side, the young core, they'll get there. They'll understand that you don't need to be aggressive to get the big scores.
Once again, a beautiful cricket shot by Hendricks. Sees another one trickle past the boundary. That takes the score now to 29 for no loss in 3 overs. As we see the replay now.
Miguel Petros with another short ball there, and Reza picking the length up early and getting it over. Timing not there, came off the lower end of the bat, but this outfield's good enough for anything hit with a little bit of power to go over.
That's the thing, especially the young cricketers these days miss is they think you have to go really hard in the power play. And the thing is, in the power play, you are only allowed to put 2 guys outside of the ring. So if you put, and you'll see it with the India and all those type of guys, Pakistan, you see Babar Azam, Virat Kohli and them, they don't slog, they don't go hard, they play normal cricket shots, they block and punch the ball through the gap and they get their 4s and 6s and whatever. By just playing normal cricket shots, they bat at an extremely high pace, and I think that's something a lot of the younger players these days miss. Well, I think in the power play you have to go hard. But actually, that's when you just need to play your normal shots and it goes through. And
that's what Prince and Vian Libba just struggled with. Shompo Mudimukwane at the top of the run-up at the JB Marks end, trying to come in and bowl over number 4. Shompo Mudimukwane took 2 for 31 against the Titans, bowled really nicely on Friday night.
It's punched down the ground by Rickleton.
Done by the change in pace there was Ryan. He was looking to come through flush on that ball, but slightly slower than expected from Shompo. If you think about it, you've had Duan, who's you could consider fast. You've had Miguel Petros, who you consider fast, and then you've got the medium pace of Shompo Mudimukwane coming in. So there's a bit of an adjustment period, and that ball was the adjustment. Okay, so you've got five fielders in the ring on the offside, and 2 fielders on the leg side out on the boundary, and one of those fielders is going to be brought in. No, they're not going to be brought in. It's going to be 6 runs to Reza Hendricks.
Reza Hendricks almost falling for the trap there. The ball before third man brought up into the ring, mid-on, dropped back onto the fence. But the contact by Riza Hendricks just too sweet as we see the replay. Nothing more than a push.
High on the bat there. But Bamanye Klenze on the boundary just couldn't get there.
Hendricks now 21 of 12. Punched back towards the bowler, and Hendricks in the form of his life really. And really devastating batter at the top of the innings.
He's a example of form being a wave. You're gonna have the crests and you're gonna have the valleys. January he was in a valley, looked like he couldn't play cricket or bat at all, but now he's looking like a different man.
A little bit on the legs and work towards the deep square leg fielder. Looks like Caleb Seleka down on the fence, and Mpo, I can't see his introduction to the attack being too far off. The Dragons need wickets and they need it fast.
And that's true. You gotta give yourself every chance of taking a wicket, which is why I was surprised Mutasami didn't bowl himself again after that first over. I'd have gone already with my spinners, but obviously it is the power play, and you're worried about the fielders outside.
And a bit of an heave by Rickleton, going hard at that one. And another bowling option, I can't see being too far off here. I can't see Vian Libbe maybe coming into the attack sooner rather than later.
Him, yeah.
He has played for the national side in the shortest format as well.
Oh man, oh, we'll talk about that after this.
Flat batted into the offside, and good work done at mid-off. It looks like Mutasami who does the filling. Another left-arm spinner who throws right-handed.
Yeah, and that's true. But like Vian Libbe had a time where he had the best strike rate of any batter in South African cricket in the Mark Boucher era, and he only got to play 2 games with the Proteas against Pakistan, and I think faced like 4 balls and got 16 runs, and that was it. Actually, no, he faced 10 balls and got 16 runs. That's why he has a strike rate of 160. But yeah, he's one who could consider himself unlucky to not have more Proteas games. As you look, the Lions are chasing 109. They're currently 38 without loss. They need 66 to win, and we're starting over number 5 with Miguel Pretorius. If you're thinking about Duckworth Lewis, the Duckworth Lewis par at the end of this over is 20. So the Lions are well ahead of that.
Pretorius now to Rickleton. That one looks to be pitching outside leg. The umpire indicates that it is well a leg by.
A little bit of quiet practice from the Dragons, just clearing their throats there. That's all you can give that shout. It's just down the leg side. So have a look at that replay. Yeah, pitched outside leg.
Well outside the leg stump. And speak about backing your bowlers. Pretorius going in his first over for 11 runs. The skipper Mutusami has backed him to bowl another one here in the power play. He continues now to Riza Hendricks. Beautiful piece of bowling, hard lengths, and Hendricks with an inside edge towards the short fine leg area. Comes through for a single.
And you kind of find yourself in a tough situation, and I do think you got to give Caleb Seleka an over in the power play. So I'm thinking that last over of the power play, you just got to try something. You saw what a lack of pace helped Hlompo Mudimukwane, but Manye Klenze as well. He also is a...
Rickleton goes hard at that one. Inside half of the bat, takes it towards the square leg region. I'm really surprised they haven't gone to Libbe as well, especially in the power play.
But look, they only have 6 overs and they've got about 8 bowlers, so they need to find a way to balance that out. You saw that last ball was a cutter from Miguel Pretorius, so you can see it's taking pace off as much as you can, and so you go to your quicks and say, boys, today let the others might have to carry us home.
Oof. That's a beautiful cricket shot Well, not necessarily one of the textbook shots, but beautiful piece of batsmanship, manipulating the field. Good bottom hand coming through from Reza Hendricks, picking that one up over forward mid-wicket, between mid-on and mid-wicket for 4.
The key here is length. It's slightly wide, but the length helps him get underneath that ball and generate the pace he needs. And outside the off stump, it's all wrists. All wrists. Really great shot there from Reza Hendricks.
Pretorius now to Hendricks. Comes down the wicket, and a good piece of bowling by Pretorius.
That's a tete-a-tete, and they've realized that no, actually, they equaled each other out. Miguel saw Reza coming down the wicket. He adjusted his length. Reza managing to dig it out at the last moment. It's a beautiful, beautiful period of cricket there. One great ball that is a utopia for all cricket fans, I think.
The lights now in full swing here at the JB Marks Oval. Overpitched and given the treatment it deserves. Reza Hendricks, in the form of his life, one of the best around this circuit. Not going to miss out on that one. Excellent cricket shot. And a photographer's dream there from Reza Hendricks.
He's hoping a photographer's taking a photo of that, because that's a beautiful shot. It brings up 49 after 5 overs. Look at that shot from Reza. It went like a bullet to the boundary. And we're going to get a bowling change, and it looks like it's number 27.
Looks like Vian Libbe into the attack from the JB Marks end. And I do think it might be a good ploy, especially against the left-handed Rickleton. And it's been good from Rickleton, especially he's really a batsman who's renowned for taking on the bowlers and batting an high strike rate. But he's seen that Hendricks is striking them well, and he's been more than happy to play second fiddle and knock it around and give Hendricks a strike. I mean, Reza Hendricks batting at the speed of light, 31 of 18 balls, while Rickleton only nudging it around 15 of 12. They've really formed a formidable opening partnership here.
And they're going to be here for the entire tournament. So not a lot of IPL. The only person going to IPL from the Lions is Kagiso Rabada. So yeah, they'll be here for a while.
Gives himself room and squeezes that one through the offside. Fielder gives chase. It looks like they're looking to come back for a third, but some good fielding by the Dragons men on the offside keeps it to 2, and that brings up the 50-run opening partnership for the Lions. 51 for no loss, and this only the first ball of the last over of the power play. And do you think they'll look to capitalize on this last over of the power play?
That last shot was a thing of beauty. He had so much time to pick a spot and cut it very late.
Some excellent fielding done in the cover region. It looks like Rwanda Swart. Not too sure who's off the park.
We'll get confirmation of that for you soon.
It's cut away once again. Bit of a drag down. A lot of work to be done by the Dragons fielders. Not to be for the Auto Investment Dragons. That one speeds away to the boundary. 4 more, and it doesn't look like the Dragons can stop the bleeding here.
Mudimu Kwane really tried there, but he struggled with that. But if you look at that replay of the Dragons player picking it up, but that shot again, similar to the first one, but this time Rickleton with more time and having the ability to cut that ball to the boundary.
Pitched up forward defensive. It looks like the umpire says it's a bit high. A good shout. I think it's the first shout of the innings.
Look, it was straight. There we go. But the umpire, you can see the umpire there saying he thought it was high.
Flat batted down the ground by Rickleton. But Mpoa just said maybe just a bit high. That was the first real appeal of the innings.
It was the first chance for the Dragons. They haven't been able to manufacture a wicket or create some sort of urgency from the Lions or some sort of uncertainty. The uncertainty is laid with their bowlers. They have struggled with length, they've struggled with line, some of them, and even some of the fielding options also are being questioned here. You can see that it's a team that will win some games, but they're going to struggle in the early parts.
Oh my word.
Oh,
That is a beautiful cricket shot by Reza Hendricks. Down on the knee, perfectly executed sweep shot. And really not much the bowler can do about that.
look, whenever a man goes down on one knee, people are expecting a ring. This one was as beautiful as a diamond ring. Look at the shot, just played it all with the smothering the spin, but he managed to just lift it up there over the infield. Really, really good bowling, batting from Reza Hendricks. 60 without loss after 6 overs. That's the end of the power play. And the Lions are well ahead on Duckworth Lewis. Reza Hendricks 35 of 19. Ryan Rickleton 22 of 17. And there are only 3 extras.
Yeah, the Lions going at 10 to the over without taking any risks, Mpo. And as we say it, we have a change in the bowling from the university, and it's Caleb Seleka coming in for his first over. And the Auto Investment Dragons are going to look to something really close to a miracle here from him to get them back into this
Which
one.
is why I would have potentially started with him, just to see what he can give me. Because essentially, as you look at the Lions dugout, you got Temba Bavuma and Rassi van der Dussen waiting to come back in. That is one scary batting lineup for all the teams here at the CSA T20. It's going to be an intriguing over. Caleb Seleka in with 4 catches around the bat. But it's not the catching skills that they need. It is the ground fielding skills, and Lisiba Ngwepe doing well to get that back to his keeper, but a single was taken.
Yeah, maybe a bit of chalk there for Mr. Rickleton there. Hits that one on the bottom end of the bat. And if you look at the batting lineup to come, you think of Bavuma and Van der Dussen, daunting for the bowlers. But a guy that's a bit under the radar and maybe a bit underrated in this lineup, Mitchell van Buren.
Yes, MVP.
He's been explosive
He's had a
for the
great
Lions.
season across all formats this year. He's been their man in a crisis. Him and Vian Mulder, man in a crisis. As Seleka again with an arm ball, not a lot of turn compared to Dawood, and Reza Hendricks just getting an easy single. We're now down to the out of the power play. You've got 5 fielders out of the ring that you're allowed. So for Rickleton, with that short boundary in tow, he's got 3 fielders on the leg side on the boundary, 1 at point on the boundary as well as a long off, and he is looking to give that man at point a job, and he does it really, really well. A great fielding there from Ruben Harman on the boundary to prevent 2 runs.
Yeah, it looks like Seleka's bowling it a lot out of the front of the hand. Looks like he's trying to tuck them up a bit. Maybe bowling a lot of sliders as well. He'll maybe need to look to slow it up slightly to maybe just get the batters forward and bring his keeper into play as well.
I wouldn't be mad at that ball if I was Caleb Seleka. A single that came through with that just hit harder to Lisiba Ngwepe. But the Lions batters are showing him all 3 of the stumps, and that's something that you as a leg spinner will be encouraged by, because that means a change in flight, a change in pace might find you in.
But as I said, I'd like to see him maybe just slow it up slightly. Entice the batters to maybe go the aerial route. At this stage, he's bowling a bit defensively, maybe a bit too quick to get them to play the big expansive shots.
No fielders on the boundary behind square. Ruben Harman doing well at mid-wicket. It's also quite quick from Seleka.
Now look, at this stage the Lions can do it in singles. They don't need to hit everything. I mean, they need 38 from 79 balls. They can block a few of the one as well. Obviously they won't. They're a class act and they're looking for the bonus point, their dominant side. But as a bowler, you need to try something here to try and get them to change what they are doing and what has been working for them. So if I was him, maybe a bit slow, maybe a googly somewhere.
Nice one down the leg side. Seleka's not wanting to go across the right-handers as the left-hander as much, largely because he knows he's coming into him. So it's a lot more of a slider, as you would call, as Vian's been telling you about. But that's the end of the over. You've gotten a single off every ball plus 2, which is 7 runs off that over, 67 without loss. If you look at the bowling card, not much to write home about. We're waiting on Bamanye Tengre, which I think will be coming in now. He also had a really great season last year at the Paul Rocks with the ball, so he'll be hoping that that continues. Bamanye too has taken 18 wickets in the CSA T20 challenge at an average of 12. That's runs per wicket, with an economy of 8.2 and over. His best figures were at this stadium against the Knights for the Paul Rocks. He took 4 wickets for 30. So Bamanye is someone we'd be looking to. He didn't get a wicket on Friday, so he'll be hoping to open his account in this year's CSA T20 challenge. Oh! I've been talking him up so much, and it's a no ball with a free hit.
Ryan Rickleton will definitely think Christmas has come early this year.
We're hoping to get another one of those.
Ever want to have a look at a bowler? He bowls you a free hit first ball. You can have a nice look at him.
Oh, nice. Oh, my word. Not the best start for Bamanye Tengre. Free hit now. Remember, batter can't get out unless if he is run out. Oh, there we go. Change of pace from Bamanye. Can't allow Rickleton to free his arms. Really good ball from him. I'm sure that was the first ball he was wanting to bowl. So just one off that free hit.
Yeah, as you alluded to earlier, he was really good for the Rocks. And in that time when he was so good and he had, if you call it a purple patch if you like, it was also at this very ground where he bowled so well in the previous, that CSA T20 competition, where he was one of the standout performers. It was here at the JB Marks Oval where he put the performances in for his side.
Cut to the fielder, third man, Lisibangwepe, fielding in the outfield. A recognition of his great fielding exploits. Single taken there. 69 without loss. See, with this tournament being quite long, net run rate is also going to be a factor, as it's a double round CSA T20. It's the first one we've had in a while, in many years. And so net run rate also comes into play here. But most importantly, it's bonus points. As it's up in the air, there's a chance! And it lands short of Vian Mulder at square leg. And the Lions still managed to come through for 3.
It does look like it's difficult to pick the ball up there on that side of the field. Earlier on, I think it was Quenan Parker as well that struggled to pick one up. It might be something to do with the background. Very big white Dragons advertisement board as well, maybe in the line of sight. Nonetheless, 72 for no loss after 7. The Lions really cruising at this stage. And
the first chance of the game of the innings for the Dragons. Many fans will be wondering why Bamanye Tengre wasn't brought in early. Rick's throwing everything at all these balls now, and 4 runs with a inside-out cover drive to the cover boundary for 4.
At this stage, doesn't look like there's too many demons in this wicket. It looked like a minefield earlier, but at this stage, it's looking the dream for the Lions as we see the replay now. Rickleton giving himself a bit of room, and inside out over the cover region to the longer side of the field. Beautiful cricket shot as we see a fielding change once again. Third man being brought up into the circle and long off being dropped back.
And it's over the top, and they get their first wicket. Ryan Rickleton looking to lap it over. But with the lack of pace from Bamanye, it brought in Lisiba Ngwepe there on the edge of the circle, and he does an incredible job at getting them their first wicket. The Lions are 76 for 1 as Rickleton goes for 34 of 25 to add on to that 75 from Friday night. But it is the medium pace of Trengle that gets them their wicket.
Yeah, the replay shows that I think it was an off-pace lever. It looked like a slower ball, as we see at the back of the hand, slower ball. Beautiful piece of bowling and a very good catch as well by Lasiba Ngwepe at short fine leg. That brings Themba Bavuma to the wicket, the South African skipper.
Yeah, former skipper of the T20 side, Themba Bavuma, scored 26 on Friday night, but from a career in T20s, he has, for a career in T20s, he has scored a whole lot of runs, and he's looking to come in and guide the team home. There isn't much that you're looking for. Themba Bavuma, having played over 107 innings, 2,508 runs in T20s with a high score of 104, which was in a final, T20 final, against the Warriors in Johannesburg, 2018-19. That day, John Smart scored another century as well, but he was on the losing side. His strike rate is 124. That's been a topic of discussion many times as to what it is, but he may have seen his last game in the Proteas T20 side, but he's not gonna not fight for a position on that plane to the US and the West Indies. He did play in the series against Australia, but with all of these young SA20 batters, he didn't get a game. Got a few games in SA20 this year, so that's the worry, as Themba is obstructed by something behind the bowler's arm. But yeah, so
I'd have to say, in recent times, especially in the white ball stuff, it's been a toss-up between Reza Hendricks and Bavuma to open the batting with Quinton de Kock. It's most occasions it's been one of the two of them to open with de Kock, and sometimes one of them batted at 3 as well. I think that might be the ploy here as well, with him batting intentionally at 3 now, especially with Hendricks and Rickleton at the top of the order.
First ball from Trengle, and Themba plays it straight to Van Toner at mid-wicket, catching mid-wicket. You kind of see that there's a ploy with Themba, especially with short pitch bowling. I would want a few catches around the bat, just in on his eye line. Might just pop up and he might just, get something lucky there. But yeah, look, it's always between him and Reza. In the battle of who opens in South African cricket, it's been Themba, and largely at times Themba's has earned his spot in the side. However, he did have a lean patch in the white ball cricket, but his which came at Reza Hendricks's being not getting a game.
Looked like a googly there from Caleb Saleka. Definitely showing the back of the hand to the batter. Looks like he's done a bit of a mischief to his bat as well.
It's a little bit easy for Reza Hendricks right now, seeing it like a beach ball, playing it out to the leg side. I'd love for Caleb to try and just give it a little bit more flight and let Reza bring in those fielders in the deep. It's a short boundary, fine. 50 for 6, that's okay. But at least try ball to field. You're not trying to save runs here. We're trying to take wickets. If you're looking to save the 2 or 3, it's not going to work. You need to try and break the back of this Lions batting attack. You've already gotten one. As they bring in the fielder at long on, and they've got mid-wicket on the boundary, deep square leg on the boundary, they've got long off on the boundary, as well as point on the boundary. And it's just all too easy for Themba for another single. He moves on to, gets off the mark.
And Reza Hendricks calls for reinforcements, a new bat coming onto the pitch for him. And at this stage, really, it's difficult to pick a South African side without Reza Hendricks at the top of it. He's really been the form player this last couple of years, I think, in and around South African cricket.
But and my thinking is, even if it's Bretsky at the top, or Rickleton at the top, or Reza at the top, I don't think many cricketing fans would have a problem, because SA 20 and this tournament we'll see is that there's a lot of talent at the top of the order in South Africa, and they need to find a way to harness it and get it and get it to a team that wins them a World Cup, right? And to a certain extent, that's what it is, because Reza didn't have a great SA 20, but the others did. Reza's having a great February. If the others don't, doesn't mean they don't play in the and that's where the conundrum of Temba comes in, right? A lot of people want Temba out the side because it doesn't necessarily fit the plans, but even he too's giving himself a case, and he's by all means he's gonna try to put some sort of a case for Rob Walters to say, I'm also here if you need me. And it's quite a great place to be in South African cricket. Reverse sweep from Temba. They come for a single. Great calling from Reza, who saw that the fielder behind square was a little gingerly. That's Slampo Mudimukwane, and quick one. They wristed on his arm. Managed to get that. End of that over. 5, very quiet over. We can see the value of Caleb Seleka, but it's still 80 for 1. The Lions need 24 to win, and it's the 9th over done.
Put 80 for 1 after 9. They're really cruising at this stage. But another person to throw into the discussion for the top of the order battle for South Africa, especially in white ball stuff, I think he can be an option in the red ball stuff as well, maybe later on. Jordan Herman, he had an exceptional SA 20 as well. The left-hander, powerful batter, and really entertained everyone in the SA 20, so definitely another one to look at.
Great to resume, and Temba just plays that really nicely to the leg side. Short ball in from Bamanye. That was a quicker one from him, the seam up ball, and Temba obliged to thank you for the extra pace, only for a single there. Speaking on Jordan Hammond, I think he's there. I wouldn't it's great that we have this problem now. There's 5-6 guys. We're not even talking about Brevis. We're not even talking about even Mitch van Beeren, for instance, right? A guy who, but obviously Mitch's conversation is a little bit more middle order-ish. But yeah, it's a great time for South African cricket.
Oh my!
Over the top, Reza Hendricks. Oh my! Another quick one from Bamanye. Not a lot of disguise there. But Reza says, thank you very much. It's wide outside the off stump, and I'll play it with as much of a straight bat as possible.
Just a class act is Reza Hendricks. That one looked to be tailing in towards him. Beautiful hands from Reza Hendricks, up and over mid-off.
Yeah, and that's the thing, that's the conundrum with Bamanye Klendle, is his seam-up ball, the pace, doesn't trouble batters that much. It's the change-ups that do. Like that change-up right there, short ball, slower ball there, but Reza Hendricks guided that really, really well.
Yeah, to come back to the discussion, Mitch van Beeren, he comes into the equation.
Oh, we've got overthrows and another single taken. It's the list of discussion points in the Northwest Dragons team meeting tomorrow is gonna be as long as the N12.
Listen, that one just pretty much sums up today for them. I think the overthrow, really unnecessary moment as well. It just sums it up. It's been a day. It's one of those days that just doesn't go for you. At this stage, the Lions looking very good, top of the table, especially after this one.
And that's another change up. You can see the disguised balls coming there. That came off the toe of the bat of Reza Hendricks, down to long off.
This, if and when the Lions cross the line, going to be really good for their net run rate, especially. They beat the Boerland side by 40 runs the other night, and at this stage they're looking good to get that net run rate up and about.
Currently going at 9.4. Required run rate is 1.5. So if net run rate is a differential between the run rate from the Dragons and the run rate from the Lions are going to get a really nice helping of that. Delightful cut down to to third man. And that's Temba's game in T20 in a nutshell, right? He's always nudging and nurdling, getting the run rate going, changing strike as much as possible. And he works in this line side, especially when it is low totals. He allows the hitters to get in by just giving them the strike and just rotating it. Oh, what a shot from Riza. What a way to get to 50. Late, waited for it. Beautiful cut. And Riza Hendricks gets to his 50s. First one in the CSA T20 challenge. And he'll be looking for more of those. But my word, Riza Hendricks has given us a show here today at the JB Marks Oval. Now look at that replay. Just look how late he plays it. Oh my word. He waited for that in age, but he still didn't have enough power for it to get to the boundary. Riza Hendricks truly having a great game. Probably a candidate for man of the match. That is his 45th 50 in T20 cricket. 45 in over 212 games.
Now that's right up there with some of the best in the world. Is Riza Hendricks at this stage. As we see Caleb Seleka coming in once again from the university end. Only 11 runs needed.
Oh, short ball. Well, Temba will take that any day. Any day. If you're going to drag the length back, he's going to climb into you. And that's a 4 that takes Temba to 8. And the Lions now need 7 more runs to win. We are in the 11th over, ladies and gentlemen. The crowd here, which is sizable and beautiful, came expecting a high-scoring, exciting game, and all they got was a one-sided dominance from the men from Johannesburg.
Now the Lions definitely going to get a bonus point victory here over the Northwest side.
Oh, Timbers missed that one, but umpire says not out, inside edge, most likely. Look at the replay. Just going down leg. And that's the shot that Timber wanted to play with the previous ball. Gets it out to the leg side for a single. 97 for one's partnership is with 21 runs. Timber's only contributed 8 of those. Riza has contributed 9 of those, and Riza's contributed 13 in this partnership.
That's
and
going.
The short boundary gets attacked for 6. Well done, Riza Hendricks. He managed to get underneath the bat of underneath the ball of Caleb Seleka, and that's the end of the game. The Lions needed 6 to win, and Riza got there in style, clearing that front foot, and it's a beautiful, beautiful 6 to win the game for his team. He finishes on 57. What a great day for the Lions.
Yeah, the Lions really a game of two surfaces here, as the Northwest Dragons, or the Auto Investment Dragons, struggled to 103, and the Lions really batting on a different surface. They scored it at going at 10 to the over. A really dominating performance by the Lions, beating the Dragons by 9 wickets. A solid bonus point victory. This surely takes them well to the top of the table. The Dragons, on the other end, are probably going to the bottom at this stage.
Yes, the Lions will go to the top of the table with 9 points. The Warriors got a bonus point victory on Friday night, and the Dragons will be stuck at the bottom of the table with 2 losses. If you look at it, it's 104 for 1 for the Lions. Rickleton scored 34 of 26. He was caught by Ngwepe off the bowling of Bamanye Tlentle. But Riza Hendricks, 57 of 30, candidate for man of the match. He took 2 wickets as well in the game. And Timber Bavuma, 9 of 9, all out. 9 of 9 not out. The Lions managed to do this in 10.4 overs. The groundsman can use this Lions innings as a point to say, but you see how well they batted on the surface. But speaking of next games for these teams, but before that, the bowling, only 1 wicket for Tengle. He went for 11 and over, 1 for 22. But Mutusami 0 for 6, Duan Jansen 0 for 12, Miguel Pretorius no wickets for 21, Mudi Mugwani 0 for 9, Liber 0 for 11, Caleb Seleko 0 for 22. They threw everything at the Lions and they couldn't get many more wickets. The Dragons' next game after this is against the Tuskers on the 15th of March. So that's going to be an interesting one next week, Friday. At the Peter Maritzburg Oval. The Lions' next game is against the Hollywood Bets Dolphins this week, Tuesday, in Kingsmead in Durban. And then the next game here at the JB Marks Oval for the Dragons is on the 21st of March on the public holiday. They play the Rocks. They've got two relatively easy games for them coming up to try and get themselves their first win, whereas the Lions play the Dolphins, which is always a tough proposition for them, and then they host the momentum multiplied Titans 2 days later on Friday night at the Wanderers. That should be a humdinger. From us here at the JB Marks Oval, myself, Mpho Mutlani and Vian Duplessis, it is good night and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.